doing well and your training's going well. Apologies for the delay since my last video. I've been quite busy getting stuff ready for my next races and a few things in the pipeline that I'm really excited about. I can't disclose them just yet, but whenever I can, I will. So yeah, this video is just a bit of an overview of how my 70.3 season has gone to date. Obviously it's still early days. Races, although we are allowed to race in the UK, there isn't as many as we would normally have. Some of the smaller companies just are not able to put on their events because of financially last year they needed that year to tie them over. So yeah, so race one would be about 3 weeks ago now. Started off with an Olympic distance race, which went quite well. It's on the local roads around here, quite fast roads, which is unusual for Yorkshire. It's on a service road to the motorway. It was Wetherby Olympic, or standard distance triathlon, depending on what you want to call it. So yeah, it's one of them ones where it was like a wave format. I hadn't a clue what way I was swimming because I'd only actually got pool access a few weeks, literally probably the week off or the week before. So I deliberately put myself a bit further back, but found myself swimming actually quite well. I was surprised. I wasn't overtaking the swim, I was constantly overtaking people. But I knew obviously the guys that I'm competing against were more than likely up ahead. And we got out on the bike course. I soon found myself in third place on the course. Obviously those guys, two guys ahead of me, were started ahead of me anyway. But yeah, anyway, bike course went well, run went okay. Got overtaken just on the way back on the bike course, so that put me down into fourth on the course, but we don't know time wise. So I was pretty confident myself that I was in and around the podium. Crossed the line, fourth position, but I got third place by a couple of seconds. So that was good, especially with it being the first race of the year, first time racing since well before COVID. I mean, Lanzarote 2019 was probably my last race. So yeah, it was good to get back racing, and I really appreciated having the opportunity to race again. Then literally a few days later after that, members of our local club, or the club I'm part of, North Endurance, there was a member in it that unfortunately had an ear infection, so he couldn't do the 70.3 down in Shropshire. So I was offered the place and I jumped at the opportunity. There was a bit of uncertainty whether I was going to be able to race, just due to the actually transaction of changing names and things like that, but that's a different story. So yeah, the race for that went quite well. A couple of times here. I swam, including my transition, it was a 32.22, which Danny clocked me coming out of the swim at about 30 flat, to maybe a high 29, which for me, I'm quite content with that. I was happy to do that because I've been deliberately holding back in the swims because I know swim fitness is not there. It's not worth redlining it for 30 minutes, because that 30 minutes could wreck your next 3 to 4 hours of racing. So yeah, just playing it smart. I then did a 2:27 bike split. Was a bit disappointed with the bike mount on the way out. It was 100 metres of grass, which I don't know if anyone has rode a TT bike on grass, but they're not designed for it, and it's just stupid. It was quite infuriating to see that was the standard that was for the course that day. So yeah, I ran the first 100 metres off it and mounted my bike after it. I'm not riding TT bike on grass. I'm bouncing all around the place because the grass is not perfectly smooth. Lose a bottle and whatever time I would have lost running it, I would have lost way more if I'd have dropped a bottle, because I would have cramped that day because it was quite hot. But yeah, once got in the bike course, I couldn't fault the course. It was very good. It was 2 laps to get to 56 miles. One thing I will say though, because there was a quarter, a half, a full there might have also been an Olympic that day, but either way, because there were so many people out in course, on the second lap you end up catching up with a bit of slower traffic in the race. The roads were not closed, therefore cars were coming up on the slower moving riders through no fault of their own, and the cars wouldn't overtake because there's oncoming traffic, which is perfectly understandable. But then that caused a backlog, and it left it that you were debating, right, should I overtake the cars to try and get around? Then you're overtaking oncoming traffic. You are in a race, but you don't want to risk it because you're going to get a penalty anyway if you're caught doing that, and not to mention it's not safe. So I lost a bit of time in the bike course with that scenario, but it was a fast course. If it was a closed road course like an Ironman event, it would be a really, really good course. A few potholes, but that's what you get here in the UK. But yeah, fast bike course. Then the run, I've been doing a right bit of race simulation runs, so running off the bike, and I'm a bit late coming to this conclusion. If it was coaching anyone else, I'd realised it well early on in advance. But I'm running. I had previously been running way too hard off the bike in that opening mile, and then it would just be like steadily going downhill from there, and I'd be wondering why my energy levels were so low. I just burnt my matches in the first mile typically. So yeah, in training I kind of identified that, which is great. Like training at the Brownlee Centre, you do a bit of a round the cycle circuit, so you can do your tempo, do a bit of a run off and see how you feel, and actually dial in your race effort. And I soon realised that, right, I need to go out in that open mile quite easy. So when this race came around, that's what I planned to do. Perfect opportunity to test it. As well as that, the bike testing I had earlier on that week identified that I'm pushing way too much on the bike, and that was impacting my run. So this was the perfect scenario of free entry to a race, and if it didn't go well, who cares? If we did go well, then we've found something's going to work, hopefully. Hopefully it's not a fluke. But so yeah, that opening mile, eased into it, picked it up gradually. It was half on road, half grass, 3 laps. I went through the half in about 1:17. The course was slightly long, so I crossed the line in a 1:19, I think it was, which gave me an overall time of 4:20 on the day. Which can't complain about. That's a big improvement on my time in Lanzarote. Obviously different courses, it's hard to compare, but relative to the field there's some big names in that race, and yeah, it was good to see where I fared up. So the next race is the Cotswolds. When this video comes out, it'll be the week off the race, so it'll be the Sunday of this week when you're watching this. So it's the Cotswold Classic. It's supposed to be a fast course. I'm hoping to just wrote down the times I was aiming for. So I'd like to swim a 28:30. Obviously, like I said, I came out of the water in a high 29 to 30 dead at the last race. The time I said initially improved my transition. But yeah, I do think that I've improved a lot in my swim since. We spent a lot of time in the open water doing some simulation stuff, getting the head kicked in a bit from the ITU lads, the short course guys, when they catch up when you know about it. So if someone's going to be rougher than that on race day, then they deliberately do it, and they'll get disqualified for that. So yeah, I think I'm prepared for the swim as best as I've ever been. It may be a case that I swim 30 again, but I come out feeling even fresher. I'd like to do a 2:20 on the bike, and then hopefully replicate what I did previously and go through the half in a 1:17. And then I've allocated myself about 3 minutes for each transition. Siren going by. So that would give me a time of 4 hours 12 minutes, which is bang on what I want. Gives me a little bit of room for a toilet stop or whatever should I need it. You never know with this type of race, and a long 4 hours, anything can happen. Obviously I'm aware of mechanicals and things like that, anything can happen out of your control, and you just have to make your peace with that. You just can control the controllables. Now, I've made some changes since that race going into this one, so I've changed out my chain set for from a 52 to 53 ring. Just find I'm able to maintain a better chain line, more efficient. It's a fresher chain, slightly lighter, or chain ring. Just a pop new chain on for the race. Just swapped out the tyres to make sure everything's fresh for this. So hopefully it goes to plan. Obviously I'm in pursuit of my pro license, as some of you may be aware. And I think if I get that time, that'll be the standard met to qualify for it. It's a good standard on the day. You see on the start sheet, there's quite a few big names in it. A few guys that compete at the World Championships and Kona. So when I say the World Championships, I mean 70.3 level, and then obviously some of the guys have been competing at Kona as well, so the full distance World Championships. So yeah, I want a fast race. I want to go as quick as possible, and I need those guys there to do it. So I don't look at it as a bad thing. I'm in this sport to compete at the highest level. I don't really take much satisfaction out of an easy win. You want to have to fight for the win, because that's where the satisfaction comes in, where you're actually fighting right to the line. That's what we race for, and that's what I'm in this for. I want to have those fights, I want to have those battles. There's something very primal about it. It's human nature. We are naturally born competitive animals. It used to be survival of the fittest, and no matter how much we evolve, we're never going to come past that. So I think sport is a great avenue to still stay in touch with that basic instinct.